The desert winds howled across the dead planet, tossing sand like tiny knives through the ruins of an old alien city. Cole stepped carefully, boots crunching against broken stone and scattered tech. He was just a scavenger, nothing special, just a man looking for old parts to sell, food to eat, and one more day to survive. But today felt different. His scanner beeped slowly, pulling him toward a deep crack in the ground. It was almost hidden by rocks. But as he climbed down, he saw metal smooth, glowing slightly, ancient and untouched. A forgotten bunker, maybe. He pushed the rusted door, and it opened with a hiss, like it hadn't breathed in 100 years. The inside was dim, cold, and quiet. Lights flickered. Wires sparked along the walls, and the air smelled like old dust and something. Electric? Cole kept moving, deeper inside, hand resting near his sidearm. Just in case. Then he saw her. She was in a clear energy cage, floating slightly above the floor. Naked, or nearly naked, with silver skin that shimmered under the light. Her body looked strong but wounded, her arms held tightly by glowing cuffs. Her eyes, deep violet, watched him with a strange mix of fear and hope. When she spoke, her voice was soft and trembling. But her words hit him like a punch. Show mercy. Human, she said, my body will give you powerful offspring. Cole blinked, not sure he heard her right. What? He whispered, stepping closer. She didn't repeat it, just looked at him with tired eyes. I don't know what you've been told, he said, but I'm not here to hurt you. He studied the controls beside her cage, trying to figure out how she got in there and how to let her out. The markings were in some alien language he didn't know, but the symbols pulsed with color, red, mostly danger. Still, he kept looking. The woman spoke again, slowly this time, like she was forcing herself to stay awake. I was taken by hunters, she said. They locked me here, waiting to sell me, to someone rich. Someone cruel. Her voice cracked, and her body shivered as cold air moved through the room. Why you? Cole asked, still confused. She touched the cage wall with her fingers, the glow humming softly under her touch. I am of the Zelari royal line, she said. My kind. When bonded with your species, the children are stronger, faster, smarter. She looked down, ashamed. That's why they wanted me alive. Cole swallowed hard, his hands shaking slightly as he backed away from the controls. Are you saying someone wants to breed you? He asked, the word tasting bitter in his mouth. She nodded, eyes not meeting his. And now I'm supposed to just... What? Take you with me? He asked. She raised her head, meeting his gaze. Now, no, she said. But you could save me. Or leave me to die. He looked at her again. This strange, powerful, broken alien woman in a glowing cage. She wasn't begging for life. Not really. She wasn't even crying. She was offering something else, trust. Maybe. Or a deal. Cole's mind raced. If what she said was true, freeing her could make him a target. People would kill for a chance at her DNA, her bloodline. But leaving her here? That felt wrong. Deeply wrong. He stepped forward again. This time placing both hands on the control panel. What's your name? He asked. She hesitated, then said quietly, Valari? Well, Valari, he said. Eyes fixed on the blinking buttons. Let's hope this works. He pressed a sequence that felt right green. Yellow, green again. The cage shimmered, buzzed loudly, then disappeared in a flash. Valari fell forward, weak. And Cole caught her before she hit the ground. Her skin was cold, but soft like silk. She looked up at him. Her voice barely a whisper. You are. Not like the others. No, Cole said, lifting her into his arms. I'm not. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared through the bunker. Red lights flashed, and distant doors opened with a thud. Something or someone had been alerted. Cole gritted his teeth and held Valari close. He didn't know what was coming. But he knew one thing for sure. He wasn't leaving her behind. Cole ran through the narrow metal corridors, carrying Valari in his arms. Her body was light but warm now, her breath soft against his chest, behind him. Red lights flashed and warning sirens screamed through the halls. Something had been triggered. When he opened the cage, someone or something was coming fast. He didn't know the way. But his instincts pushed him forward. Each door he passed looked the same, all rusted metal and blinking panels. He needed an exit, and he needed it fast. Valari opened her eyes for a moment, her voice faint. Left. Take the path with green lights. Cole followed her words, turning sharply at the next fork. The hallway was colder here, and darker. The lights above flickered wildly, as if struggling to stay alive. They reached a chamber with a large sealed hatch. Cole set Valari down gently and rushed to the control panel. It was locked by alien symbols, pulsing red again. He cursed under his breath and slammed his hand on the panel. Valari placed her trembling hand over his. The screen changed. To yellow, then blue. And the hatch opened slowly with a groan. Cold air rushed in, filled with dust and the scent of outside. Behind them, footsteps echoed louder. Heavy, armored, and getting closer. Cole picked her up again and ran through the open hatch. It led into a long tunnel that sloped upward. Half of it was collapsed, but there was just enough space for him to crawl through. He squeezed himself and Valari past broken rocks and fallen beams. His back scraped, his hands bled, but he didn't stop. A loud metal clank behind them made him glance back. Dark shadows moved at the tunnel's mouth. Too many to fight, he crawled faster. Pushing toward the faint light ahead, the air grew fresher, the ceiling taller, and finally he burst out. Into the night sky, gasping, his face wet with cold wind. The surface was quiet. The ruined city stretching far under the stars. He ran behind a collapsed tower and dropped to his knees. Valari was awake now, her eyes filled with pain. I'm sorry, she whispered. They will not stop. They will hunt us. Cole wiped sweat from his brow, still breathing hard. Let them, he said. I'm not scared. Valari looked at him strangely, not used to such words from a human. You don't want a reward, she said slowly. Then why did you save me? He didn't answer right away, just stared out at the broken world around them. You asked for mercy, he finally said, and I'm not a monster. She reached out, weak fingers brushing his hand. There are not many like you, she said, her voice cracked with something deeper than pain. She had been used, caged, wanted only for her body and blood, and now a man who expected nothing had freed her. Cole looked at the distant hills, then back at her. We need shelter. He said, Can you walk? Valari tried, but her legs shook and gave out beneath her. He caught her again, steadying her gently. I will carry you, he said, without hesitation as they moved into the shadows. Far from the bunker and the hunters, neither of them knew what the next day would bring, but something had already changed. Not just between them, but deep within. The stars above blinked cold and silent. But below them, in the arms of a human, a wounded alien woman held on, not just for her life, but for something that felt strangely like hope. Night fell hard across the broken land as Cole pushed forward. His arms ached from carrying Valari, but he didn't stop. Each step took them farther from the alien facility and from the ones who wanted her caged. Valari's breathing was slow and shallow, but her eyes stayed open. Watching him, she didn't speak, not yet. But her fingers clutched the fabric of his shirt, refusing to let go in the distance. He spotted a collapsed building, a dome-shaped ruin, half buried in the sand. It wasn't perfect, but it would keep the cold out. He slid inside, careful not to make noise, and gently laid Valari on a patch of dry moss near the wall. Her skin was freezing again, her lips pale blue. She was strong. but her body was breaking. Cole quickly gathered dry scraps, broken tech pieces, and used his heat torch to build a weak fire. The warmth spread slowly, and Valari shivered closer to it. She opened her mouth, tried to speak, then stopped. Cole sat beside her and unzipped his jacket, placing it gently over her body. "I'll find a better shelter tomorrow," he said. "Just hold on for tonight." Valari's voice finally came, soft like wind through broken glass. "My kind. We do not share heat like this. Not unless we trust." Cole smiled slightly. "Then I guess I'm honored." She turned her face toward the fire, her eyes glowing faintly. "Trust is rare, human," she whispered, "especially between our kinds." Outside, the sound of distant engines echoed through the desert. Cole moved quickly to the entrance, peeking through a crack in the wall. To scout drones hovered in the sky, scanning with sharp blue lights. He pulled back and whispered, "They're searching for you." Valari sat up slowly, using the wall for balance. "They will not stop," she said. "I am too valuable." Cole looked at her then, really looked, not just at her strange silver skin or the alien marks glowing on her neck, but at her eyes, filled with old fear and quiet strength. "What makes you so special?" he asked, not with anger, but curiosity. She touched the glowing symbol on her chest. "My bloodline is ancient," she said. "Our scientists learned that crossbreeding with certain species like humans can create beings with powers far beyond anything in our history." She paused, her hands trembling. "Those who control the birth of such children control the future." Cole shook his head slowly. "So they don't see you as a person, just ... a factory, yes?" she said, with a bitter smile. "An incubator with royal genes." He clenched his fists, hating what he was hearing. "And you think I want the same thing?" She looked at him calmly. "No," she said. "That's why I told you." Silence filled the space between them. The fire crackled low, and the wind hissed outside the broken walls. Cole looked down at the burns on his arms, the dried blood. "The blisters. I didn't save you for a reward," he said finally. "You were trapped, and I did what anyone should have done." "No," Valari replied. "Not anyone." The moment stretched, quiet and strange. Then she reached out and took his hand. "Cold," she said softly. "You're cold too." Without thinking, Cole moved closer. Letting her rest against him, her warmth began to return slowly, both of them breathing in sync. He whispered, "We'll keep moving in the morning." Valari nodded. "Together." And for the first time since their escape, her eyes closed. In sleep, Cole stayed awake, holding his rifle in one hand, and her hand in the other. Outside, the stars continued watching, distant and silent. But the fire inside that ruined shelter burned just a little brighter. Morning came slowly, with pale sunlight pushing through the cracks of the ruined shelter. Cole had not slept, not even for a second. He sat with his rifle across his lap, and Valari still resting quietly beside him. The warmth they shared had kept her alive through the night, but her strength had not fully returned. And time was running short. He gently touched her forehead, and she stirred, blinking at the light. "You stayed awake," she said softly. He nodded. "Didn't want anything sneaking up on us." Valari sat up slowly, her body stiff, her breath shaky. Outside, the land was quiet, but Cole knew it wouldn't stay that way for long. They ate a small meal, protein bars, and purified water from his survival pack. She took only a little, careful not to waste. He noticed how she always looked around before eating, like someone used to being hunted. "Are there others like you?" Cole asked. "Out there somewhere." Valari shook her head. "Not anymore." She didn't explain, and Cole didn't press her as they left the shelter. The sun was already high. The heat made the air shimmer, and the ruins around them looked like ghosts. They moved slowly, staying close to walls, avoiding the open. Cole scanned for energy signals, but nothing nearby was active. Still, his gut told him danger was near. They reached a cracked riverbed, dry and filled with bones of old machines. Valari stopped, her eyes fixed on something ahead. She dropped to one knee and placed her hand on the dirt. "There's something below," she whispered. Cole crouched beside her, confused. "Like what?" "Power core." "Ancient," she said. "It may help us hide or heal." Using a small shovel from his gear, Cole dug into the cracked ground. Soon, he found metal a hatch. Rusted but still sealed, they forced it open together, and a stairway led down into darkness. Cool air rushed up, mixed with the scent of dust and energy. They descended carefully, their footsteps echoing softly. At the bottom was a small chamber, covered in old vines and glowing tech panels. Valari gasped, her eyes wide. "This is Zellery tech," she said. From before the war, she moved to one of the consoles and placed her hand on it. It lit up at her touch. Recognizing her bloodline, blue lights filled the room, and a soft hum began. "This place is a recovery pod," she said. "I can restore some of my strength here." Cole helped her toward a seat near the center, where soft lights circled like a nest. As she sat, energy flowed around her body. Gentle and warm, her breathing calmed. Her skin glowed brighter. "You really are something else," Cole said, half smiling. Valari looked at him through the light. "I wish I wasn't," she said. "Then they would stop hunting me." Suddenly, a sharp beep rang from Cole's wrist scanner. He looked down 3 signals, moving fast. "Approaching from the west, drones," he muttered. "Tracking us again." Valari stood up, her body steadier now. "I'm ready to fight," she said. "If I must, you don't have to," Cole replied. Loading his weapon, "That's my job." She stepped forward and placed her hand on his arm. "I'm not helpless anymore," she said, "and I won't watch you bleed alone." Cole nodded slowly, feeling something shift between them. Not just survival, not just duty, but something deeper. They stood side by side as the chamber dimmed again, ready to face whatever was coming above them. The sound of engines cut through the sky. The hunters were close now, and the world had stopped hiding them. But in the silence before the storm, 2 souls stood together, one human, one alien, bound, not by war or greed or fear, but by a choice neither of them fully understood yet. The sound of boots echoed above, slow and steady. Cole raised his rifle, eyes focused on the narrow stairs that led into their hiding place. Valari stood just behind him, her body glowing softly with restored energy, but her hands trembled slightly. And her eyes didn't blink. "They've found us," she whispered. "Let them come," Cole replied. "I've got enough bullets." The first drone appeared, metal wings slicing through the air. Cole fired without hesitation, hitting it clean. In the center, the machine sparked, twisted, and crashed against the wall. But 2 more followed, hovering with deadly red eyes. Valari stepped forward, her hands raised. A wave of blue light burst from her palms. Pushing the drones back, they hit the walls hard, but didn't fall. Smoke poured from one, but the other prepared to fire. Cole pulled Valari back and shot again. Blasting the weapon arm off one drone, the remaining machine flew upward, retreating fast. "It's going to alert the rest," Cole said. Valari touched her chest, her eyes glowing brighter. "We need to run, now." They grabbed what little gear they had and climbed out of the chamber. The sun was blinding outside, the wind full of dust. Cole looked toward the mountains in the distance. "If we can reach the ridge," he said, "we can lose them in the caves." Valari nodded and started walking, her steps stronger now. They moved quickly, their shadows long under the high sun, but even as they ran, Cole's mind turned over her words again and again. Back in the shelter, she had said something strange, something he hadn't forgotten. My body is the bridge. She had whispered. What did that truly mean? They stopped only once to rest under the wreckage of an old transport ship. Valari sat close to him, breathing hard. Her skin shimmered under the fading light. Cole finally asked what had been growing in his mind for hours. Why me? She turned her head slowly, her eyes soft. There is something inside you, she said. It calls to something inside me. Cole laughed a little. You're talking like magic. No, she said. I'm talking about connection. She placed her hand on his chest, right above his heart, when I was caged. I felt nothing but fear, she said. But when you touched the control panel, when you spoke to me without greed or desire, something lit inside me. Cole went quiet, the warmth of her hand moving through his whole body. I don't know what's happening, he said. You don't need to, Valari replied. It's already happening. A long silence followed, filled only by the soft wind. Then she leaned in. Resting her forehead against his, our bond may not be planned, she whispered. But it is real. Cole closed his eyes, a chasse, breathing in her presence. In that moment, everything outside the world disappeared. But it didn't last. A distant roar shook the ground, a ship flying low across the sky. Valari opened her eyes, already pulling away. They're here, she said. And they're bringing more than drones this time. Cole stood quickly, grabbing his rifle and gear. Then we give them a reason to fear us. They ran once more, not as strangers now. Something had shifted deep between them. She no longer saw him as just a human, and he no longer saw her as just a mission. Together, they would fight, survive, and if fate allowed, they would build something that had never existed before. The mountain ridge came into view just as the second hunter ship broke through the clouds. It was bigger than the drones, black and sharp like a blade in the sky. Valari looked up, her expression calm, but Cole could feel her fear hiding beneath. They're scanning everything, she said. Heat, movement, heartbeat. We keep moving, Cole said, adjusting the strap on his rifle. No matter what, they pushed forward. Climbing the rocky slope as the wind picked up, dust and small stones rolled under their boots, and every breath became harder. Cole kept glancing back. Watching the sky for movement, Valari followed close, never complaining, though her legs still shook from exhaustion. When they reached the top of the ridge, Cole spotted an entrance to a narrow cave. He helped Valari through, then followed quickly, inside. The air was damp and still, the walls smooth and dark like glass. The cave ran deep, much deeper than it should have. This was made, Valari whispered, running her hand along the stone. This is not natural. They kept going, deeper into the strange tunnel, until the sound of the wind outside vanished. Cole lit a small lamp and placed it on the ground. Valari sank down beside it, her body folding slowly. Cole knelt beside her and placed his hand on her back. Are you okay? She nodded once, but her voice was low. My body is adapting faster than it should. Cole frowned. What do you mean? Valari looked at him carefully, her silver eyes glowing brighter than ever. Our connection. Your DNA, your energy, ... It's affecting me. She reached for his hand and placed it gently on her stomach. I can feel the change beginning, she said. Cole froze, his heart skipping. Already? Valari nodded. My kind are efficient when the bond is complete. He didn't know what to say, didn't know how to feel. A part of him was scared. This was too fast, too strange, too impossible. But another part of him felt warmth, pride, and something deeper. Does it hurt? He asked. No, Valari whispered. It feels. Right outside, the hunter ship hovered low, its engines rumbling like thunder. Inside the cave, Cole reloaded his rifle and stood. They'll find us here, he said. It's only a matter of time. Valari slowly got to her feet, the light from her body glowing brighter. Then I will help you fight, Cole looked at her, amazed. Just days ago, she had been trapped, helpless, and nearly dying. Now she stood tall, her hands steady, her eyes burning with power. "You're changing," he said. "I'm becoming," she replied. "And so are you." They walked to the edge of the cave, waiting for the storm to come. The ground shook slightly, a sign that troops were landing nearby. Cole reached out and took Valeri's hand. "No matter what happens," he said, "we stand together." Valeri nodded. Together, their bond was no longer just survival. It had become something living, something real, and the ones chasing them didn't understand one thing. They weren't hunting a target anymore. They were facing a force they had never prepared for. The first blast shook the ground as the hunter ship landed near the ridge. Dust exploded into the air, and armored soldiers poured out like shadows. Cole pulled Valeri behind a boulder, eyes scanning the enemy. They were armed with plasma rifles, shock nets, and tranquilizer darts. Not here to talk, not here to capture gently. They were here to claim a prize. Valeri closed her eyes for a moment, breathing deeply. Her body glowed brighter than before, the marks on her skin pulsing with life. Cole had never seen anything like it. "You're glowing," he whispered. "I'm ready," she replied. "And I'm not afraid anymore," he smiled, raising his rifle. "Then let's show them what mercy creates." The first wave of hunters came fast. Moving in perfect sync, Cole fired with precision. Dropping the front line, Valeri stepped forward. Lifting her hands, and a wave of force shot out. The earth trembled, and two attackers were thrown back like leaves in wind. They fought side by side, back to back, Cole reloading and firing, Valeri shielding and striking. But the numbers were growing, and the sky darkened with more dropships. Cole was hit once, then twice. Falling to one knee, Valeri screamed, and a burst of light exploded. From her body, everything stopped, the wind, the noise, even the enemy. In that blinding moment, the hunters froze. Their weapons falling from their hands, one by one, they dropped to the ground, unconscious, untouched. The light faded slowly, revealing Valeri. Standing tall, glowing like a star, she fell to her knees beside Cole, tears in her eyes. "You can't leave me," she whispered. "Not now." Cole opened his eyes slowly. Blood on his lips, but alive. "I'm not going anywhere," he said weakly. Valeri pulled him close, resting her forehead against his. "You protected me when I was weak," she said. "Now it's my turn." Later, the sky was quiet again, and the enemy had been driven back. Valeri tended to Cole's wounds with care, her touch warm and gentle. They sat at the edge of the ridge, watching the stars come out one by one. The air was calm, the night peaceful, in her arms. Cole leaned against her shoulder, his breath steady. She placed a hand over her stomach and smiled softly. "The future is here," she whispered. "And it begins with us." Cole looked at her, and for the first time in his life, he didn't feel like a survivor. He felt like something more, a protector, a partner, maybe even a father. "You're not alone anymore," he said. "Not ever again." Above them, the stars shone brighter, as if listening, and below, in the quiet darkness, a new life stirred, half human, half alien, born from trust, shaped by fire, and destined to change everything.